Hello, good evening, and welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle Company Limited, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, and Meridian Port Services, MPS. The show is streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are streaming live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are streaming live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are streaming live at Iron Port, Ghana. Our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all the transpired on the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show tonight. We are going to be getting interactive with you, and so all you have to do is send your messages and comments ahead via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0559-019-177. And at the appropriate time, when I pick the right signals from my production team, we shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the show. Please do stay with us.
Every now and again, Goyle makes good things happen. This time, Goyle has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goyle Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goyle Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goyle Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goyle has that sorted. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance
for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
All right, so it's now time for us to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. And in the course of the week, the Association of Customs House Agents Ghana, ACHAG, held their second annual general meeting, plus the fact that some navigational channel buoys have been installed in the port of Takoradi. And then just yesterday, the Ghana Communication Technology University held some awards, and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority was able to pick an excellence awards, plus the fact that the Director General of the GPHA also received a lifetime award at these events. Let's take a look at these stories and more.
A number of navigational channel buoys have been installed along the access channels in the port of Takoradi. These channel buoys have been installed to enhance safety of navigation for ocean-going vessels coming in and out of the port.
GPHA through management deemed as an urgency to install these buoys to aid navigators in calling the port. See, as an international port, we don't have to leave the navigator in doubt. So the buoys were procured under a contract and installed by the contractor last week. Hitherto, the navigators were using their skill, their knowledge of the area, the pilot to aid the captain into the port. But now that the buoys are there, the captains are well informed and how to make their passage plan into the port.
As such, management of the port of Takoradi has embarked on a series of community engagements with fisherfolk and the fishing communities around the port. The sensitization exercise, which has taken place in Indrisia, Nkotompo, Poissy, New York, and the ABS Fishing Harbour in Sekondi, was necessary to educate the fisherfolk on why and how to keep a safe distance from the buoys when within the port's vicinity. The harbour master at the port of Takoradi also encouraged the fisherfolk living around the port's vicinity to desist from the temptation of engaging in criminal activities such as small theft and stowaway.
Now, watch it one for canoe. I'm for ship. Like I say, that you depend on I know that ship what to anchor now. When the finance what to go through. Now, like so, a friend for them. You don't know for the food. The woman I'm not walk up. Now I don't walk catching them now. Do what upon the phone. They were fancy. They were for ship. No, could be one man, one paint. Why the man or say it in the
The Association of Customs House Agents Ghana, ACHAG, has held this year's annual general meeting to once again assess performance, take stock, and plan for the future with respect to the customs house business. This year's theme for the AGM was achieving state revenue target in the midst of economic challenges, the role of stakeholders. Chairman of the meeting, who doubles as the head of freight and logistics at the Ghana Shippers Authority, Fred Asiedu Date, urged all stakeholders within the shipping community to stay committed to trade facilitation objectives.
The authority is looking forward to deepening its collaboration with COFA in our efforts at trade facilitation to ensure that Ghana remains the preferred destination for trade investments as well as a thriving maritime transport sector within the West African sub-region, which are vital for our economic growth as a nation.
The Deputy Commissioner of Customs in charge of suspense regimes, Emmanuel Ohene, said in addition to the rolling out of the e-auction regime, the division will introduce several initiatives and automated processes that will enhance trade and maximize revenue collection.
We have so far piloted about 3 auctions on the system, and once we are satisfied with the process, it will be fully implemented for all our customs locations. The post-clearance audit module and the rate schedule modules have also been deployed and are in use. There are several other processes in the testing stage, and once they all pass the user acceptance test, they will be deployed.
President of the Association of Customs House Agents Ghana, Yao Chei, said his outfit is happy with developmental initiatives that have enhanced Ghana's position in the international shipping business. The president of ACHAG, however, lamented the current economic challenges having severe effects on the shipping business.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to use this opportunity to appeal to the policymakers, government, to form a very close alliance with the various stakeholders, especially GRE. By this, I mean policymakers should give considerations to proposals from these seasoned customs officers. I am highly confident issues like the introduction of the unpopular CTN, the uncertainties surrounding discounts on goods, variations in the benchmark policies, auctioning of goods and vehicles, the hula baloo surrounding the exit of GCNet, and the coming in of ICOMs could have been better managed. All these create unnecessary tension, lack of confidence in government policies, and uncertainties amongst the business community.
These sentiments were further echoed by the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng.
The foreign exchange that we are crying, the shipping lines alone are taking a chunk and transport it outside this country. And we do not even seem to realize that. When they take illegitimate charges, it is about time that the report that we told for about 6 months or so to come with, should be evaluated by the Transport Ministry. Send it to the Economic Management Team for redress. We should not continue with these cosmetic things that we do. What we are calling for is that we do not have any problem. They should lump everything into the freight charges and pay us and charges. We'll pay upfront at the offshore.
Okay, so like I introduced earlier, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority picked up an excellence award yesterday at the Plush Menswick Hotel in the East Legon area, and Director General Mr. Michael Luguj also received a Lifetime Achievement Award at this particular program. The program was organized by the Ghana Telecommunication University, GCTU, and this is the maiden edition, and GPHA was there. We shall be coming your way with that particular story next week on Eye on Port. Now it's time for us to come your way with the word or phrase of the day. And remember, the word or phrase of the day is brought to you so that we can bring you up to speed or help you appreciate the terms and jargons we use in the shipping industry. And today's word is contraband. Contraband.
A contraband is any cargo that is prohibited.
All right, so you're welcome back. We are now zooming into our discussion proper tonight. Tonight, our discussions are in twofold. The first one, we're taking a look at the prospects for women on the global shipping stage. And the second one, we're taking a look at how to boost maritime trade through professional maritime education and training. The first topic comes on the heels of the appointment or election of Madam Jemilat Mahama, who is the president of WISTA, that's Women's International Trading and Shipping Association, Ghana, and she was appointed or elected as the WISTA International Secretary recently. We just want to find out from her how she was able to do it and whether that means that, the floodgates have been opened for women in the shipping industry to go global as well. That's from Ghana. And so that's what we're doing tonight, these two topics. Let me welcome Madam Jemilat and say congratulations.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Yes, we're happy that you've ascended this throne. It's a big one. The international stage, WISTA International Secretary, no mean an achievement. How do you feel?
Good evening to your viewers. And good evening to your good self.
Yeah, good evening.
I feel honored and privileged. And it's been a rough road, a very rough one, getting up there. But with determination, I think it worked out well. And here we are today. I am the WISTA International Secretary. Yes.
All right, so tell us, just give us a mental picture of what transpired at this particular event, where it was held, and what culminated in your election or appointment as Secretary.
WISTA
how many countries participated and all that,
would usually, every year, It's an annual event, hold its AGM and conference. We have membership around or across the globe, and we try as much as possible to hold the AGMs continentally, around the continents of the globe.
Right.
Now, this year, it was held in Europe, in Switzerland,
right.
Geneva to be specific. So usually before the AGM, there will be, they would ask each member country to bring forward anybody they think qualifies for vacancies in the executive committee of Western International.
Okay.
So somehow my members pushed me into it because they felt that I had what it takes to be there. Now we got there, the total Western International is 56 countries. This year we had 45 countries attending with over 250 participants. Actually, it was a very impressive attendance. And there's usually the morning session of the AGM, that is the President's Roundtable Conference or discussion. And then in the afternoon is the AGM proper itself. And all nominees would have sold themselves to the various countries. So Ghana, I was there. And I had a few of my ladies also with me.
Yeah.
And the voting started. It was quite interesting, though. And after the voting, there were other activities, presentations, and so on and so forth. And then came the time for the announcement of the winners. I think there were 4 vacant positions. The president, the secretary, and 2 members. They just join. It's usually the president, the secretary, and the financial controller. And then we have 4 other members to join these top 3.
Right.
So 2 of the members or the member seats were vacant, and then the president and the secretary. So I had a Swiss lady contesting me,
yes.
And well, I don't know whether it was because that was the home country or because, but they really just announced the winners. So it was president is X person and secretary is Ghana. And my ladies, trust Ghanaians, they were so noisy.
Were you afraid you were going to lose out to the Swiss lady because you were in their country?
Not really. Because I was quite confident that I will beat her.
Okay.
And most of the European countries had pledged their votes to me. And obviously all African countries were going with me. And the Latin American countries were also with me. So I was quite confident that I'll make it.
At such elections, how do you go about your campaigns? Do you do it in such a manner that we do here? When we have our national elections, that perhaps even in the middle of the night, you can knock at somebody's door and say, Charlie, this is me. I need you to do this for me.
No, it's actually not allowed. The best or the most you can do is send an email or a text and say, I'm contesting X position and blah, blah, blah. They'd say, yes, we know about it.
Maybe sometimes you have to add a bit of your profile.
Exactly. Just tell them that I can do it because I have these capabilities and credentials and, And they were all like, oh, Jamila, don't worry. We know you. You've been with us for some time. We know what you can do. We know you can do it. And we want people like you to move the association forward. So, well, I think that's just about it. And when you arrive, actually, you arrive the night before. So there's very little to do and to meet people. Everybody is in her room and, so it's not like what we do here.
Right.
Everybody has her, what she's coming to do. There's very little influence, actually. You only inform them that you are, and they are like, okay.
Okay. So I think it's a very good mix there, to have an African in there, the top echelons of the WISTA International. Once again, we'll say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Let's come back to Ghana and find out from you how WISTA Ghana has fared in the year 2022. We are getting to the last quarter. And how have you fared this year?
Not trying to be the lizard that fell from the big Iroko tree, but I think we have fared very well. We have done quite a lot this year. We started the year on a bit of a shaky note due to financial constraints, but we managed to organize a platform in Takoradi, because WISTA Ghana is not just in Accra. We have a branch in Tema, we have a branch in Takoradi, and we try to let everybody feel included in whatever activities we do. So in March, on the 8th of March to be specific, we were in Takoradi to celebrate the International Women's Day. And it was all centered around the women empowerment in the maritime industry. We planned for 100 participants, but we were so overwhelmed. In the end, we got close to 300.
Wow.
Yes, and the regional minister, the Honorable Regional Minister was there. Okay. We had high-profile people coming from Accra. The Tema Port Director was there. The Takoradi Port Director was there. We had second cycle institutions and tertiary institutions all being represented, because apart from creating awareness that there's the association, we also create awareness that the industry exists and women can be part of the industry.
Right.
We had, in fact, another first. We hosted the WISTA International ESCO in Ghana in June.
Okay.
It's never happened in Africa, but we got them here from all over. And it was a very successful event. They held their mid-year meeting here. And as usual, we had our minister, the deputies, and,
attending.
Yes. It was also a good one. We had this AGM where we got this election, and my good self is now serving on the board. And we had elections locally, an AGM, and elected new executives to the National Association of WISTA.
In Ghana?
In Ghana.
Okay.
So I think we've been quite busy. We have engaged with stakeholders, the maritime agencies. We participated in the Ghana Maritime Authority's celebration of the Day of the Seafarer. And we keep getting invitations. We're invited to Nigeria for the Nigeria International Maritime Week, where we participated. I was a moderator. A second lady, one of our members, was also a moderator. I think we haven't fared badly. We are quite active.
Right.
And things are going well for us.
All right, so let me come back to WISTA International and your role as secretary for WISTA International. What are you expected to do as secretary? What is your role?
My role basically is that of a secretary, which we all know.
Yes.
Taking minutes, dissemination of information.
But when you come to our setting here, I'll use the political parties as an example. You have the chairman of the party who sits back, and then the secretary or general secretary, so to speak, acts like the chief executive who administers the party on a day-to-day basis. That's why I'm just trying to be curious here.
That's where the difference comes. On the international stage, it's the secretary who does these things. Coordinates events and activities with our stakeholders, and we have MOUs with quite a lot of international organizations, and my duty is to liaise with them and ensure that our interests are upheld and push forward whatever strategies we have, and most of that falls on me. So that's quite a big hurdle
It's quite Herculean, yeah, sure.
Yes. And I have to answer to all national oyster associations, answer their questions and difficulties, link them up. We have a diary of membership, and if somebody is in distress, I'll be the first person they'll fall on.
Right.
So that I can link them to whichever member we have in that country for assistance. These are all part of my duties.
All right, so I just want to find out from you how you're going to be able to use this particular role as Secretary of WISTA, how you position yourself to advance the cause of Africa and Ghana in particular in the shipping space as Secretary of WISTA International. Perhaps let's be a bit gender biased to help other women.
Definitely. We have to be gender biased because we are gender and we are fighting for gender. Advocacy, championing the cause of women in the maritime industry is my prime or my prerogative.
Yeah.
I also plan on ensuring that policies of various countries, especially in Ghana, are, as you said, gender biased, that women are given equal opportunities and women are seen and heard. And I plan on engaging stakeholders and policymakers to attain this, because it's very, 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 we have the women. We have the women. I have to encourage them to speak out so they are heard in their places of work.
Right.
And when the opportunities come, together we can highlight them and get them to be put where they have to be.
Right.
And in Africa, I will do so through the national oyster associations. The presidents, coincidentally, are very powerful and strong women. And once I draw their attention, I think they will do what we have to do or what it takes to get women in the boardrooms.
Now, the theme for this AGM that saw you elected as Secretary to WISTA International is collaboration for a sustainability cross-industry solution for the future. Tell us about it. How did you arrive at this particular theme for this year's AGM?
All through the year, I think we are all aware that it's climate change. And that's the song everybody is singing.
Yes.
Just as they are on it at COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh.
Yes.
And we had to go along those lines. I mean, you have to do what everybody is doing to be seen and heard, and seen as relevant, actually, and heard as relevant. If you want, WISTA thinks that to arrive at sustainability, there has to be collaboration. And so how do we collaborate with other institutions and organizations and so on to have a sustainable environment? So I think that's how we arrived at that theme. And what do? We have to look at it holistically, not individually, you know. So every bit has to come in for us to ease out on the ozone layer depletion. Energy, how do we reduce the use of fossil fuels? We have the wind, hydro, everything will come. And then all these reps were there, the World Ocean Council, the world, everybody was there. And because we have to look at the future. Now, if you look at it, fisheries, for instance, maritime, you are using the sea, you are using the oceans. Now, the fishes under, how do we preserve them? Because we need to eradicate hunger. So we have to bring them in. We have to collaborate with the fisheries industry globally to ensure that that also is done. At the conference, it came out, we had very good speakers speaking on, for instance, the fisheries preservation. And there was this from Canada where they do they have the spawning grounds, and all fisher folk or fishermen or trolleys there's the awareness. They create the awareness of spawning grounds.
Right.
So you're not supposed to go there to fish, so the fingerlings can grow.
Right.
Coming back to Ghana, I think Ghana is doing very well, and that's why we have the fishing, the closed season, just for the fish to grow. And that one helps in fisheries. And like I said, there's the energy bit, then there's the forestation or afforestation, that when you consume, make the effort to preserve.
Absolutely.
And all these industries that we are collaborating with, that's the message we are sending out. We are helping to sing the song and preach the conservation bit of life. And that's how come we come that. But let me take you back a bit, Ken. When we were growing up, in Ghana, we were taught in the agric classes or even in the villages. Our grandfathers used to do what we call in school shifting cultivation.
Absolutely, yes.
He has 4 acres of land. He plows 3, plants on it, harvests everything, and leaves the 4th one for the nutrients to grow. The next year, after harvest, he moves to the next. That's something like what Wista is preaching.
Right.
What are the options that are available to us that we can collaborate with other industries and together have a sustainable life in the world, help with our ozone layer depletion to bring it down. That's the topic or the theme that we went with.
All right, so one of the issues that was discussed, I just wanted to share perspectives with us at the conference, was the issue of, how the maritime industry is being impacted by conflict and the disruption of food supply chains and all that. I just want to find out from you if you can share perspectives with us and maybe some of the findings, at the conference.
The maritime industry has really been hit hard with conflicts, especially at the backdrop of maybe I would say the pandemic has ended, but COVID still exists. So that already broke things down, and the war in Ukraine has worsened it. And at a point, there was hunger looming because grains could not be moved. From the maritime perspective, the IMO took it very seriously, and fortunately, Turkey was offered to be the mediating grounds. They provided the facilities, they provided everything, and IMO became the mediator, sort of.
I'm in the studios with Madam Jamilat Mahama, who is president of Wista Ghana. She was elected in Geneva at the annual general meeting of Wista International as Secretary Wista International. And so we're just trying to find out from her how she was able to do it, and for her to share some perspectives with us on the global shipping space. So we just want to find out from you. You were telling us about the theme and one of the topics that we discussed, which had to do with the impact that maritime industry has felt from conflicts and how it has disrupted supply chain in terms of food, and some of the findings from the conference.
Yes, as I was saying, They instituted the Black Sea Grain Initiative. And it was through that initiative they were able to negotiate with the Russians to allow them at least create a lane in the sea where these ships could convey all the held up wheat grains and distribute to the world. And we had a video of it, and it was not easy. And one thing that we saw, the initial, the first day of the negotiation, there was no woman around the table. No woman. They were all men. And before we could ask, the IMO mediator who was doing the presentation said yes. By the close of the day, they had noticed it, they had realized it, and immediately corrected it. Because they went with women. All the teams came with women. But for some coincidence, the women were out of the negotiation. So the second day came 2 women, and it was still not enough. And there were so many phone calls, according to him, around the world, asking why there were only 2 women. But even though they increased the women round the table, the initial 2 were became very crucial members of the negotiations, which we all applauded, and which beat the drum harder to tell the world that, look, you need women wherever you are, because we do it best, you know. And now, today, with the Black Grain Initiative, wheat is getting to everybody, even though it is not the quantity that we all need, because some countries are highly dependent on wheat. But if you have to go for equity purposes, definitely they will be short of food. But then we are working on it. Okay.
We have barely 2 minutes to wrap up with you. So I'll give you a loaded question. First of all, I just want to find out from you what impact you think you have made as Wister Ghana, because you've been in operation for quite some time now in our country, and whether you are satisfied with the level of commitment by sector agencies in the maritime industry in terms of recruiting women. And then lastly, a word for younger women who want to take up some mentorship or some roles in the maritime industry. It's a loaded one, just 2 minutes. Quick one.
The first one is what we have achieved, or what? Yes. Okay. A lot. In terms of training, we have a lady we sent to ICS, International Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers. We sent a lady there for training, and that was the first one, the ICS Wister International, whatever. And out of the lot, it was only Ghana, the lady from Ghana who passed the exams. Wow. And that is what I credit that to myself. And we had, last year, we had the Maritime IMO CEO leadership course. We sent another lady. She was, we nominated a lady. She was given the scholarship, and she also passed. So gradually, we are training them. Currently, at the just ended AGM, I met a lady, an American lady, a ship captain, who runs cadets programs for students in the maritime institutions. And she's offered to help us. So I've started contacting them. Captain Hanagre is my conduit to the students. We want to get students to take them to the US on board ships for that training. We, in terms of those already in the industry, our activities and our awareness creation has helped, because today you would see the Port of Tema director is a woman. The GM, we have 2 lady GMs, in fact 3. at GPHA.
Yes, Madam Esther Jebidonko, General Manager, Marketing Corporate Affairs, Madam Florence SL, General Manager, Administration, and Madam Mausi Sapati, who is General Manager, Finance. Yeah. These are key positions.
And they are all members of WISTA.
Yes.
We have the Ghana Shippers Authority.
Yes, Madam Benonita Bismarck.
Headed by Madam Benonita Bismarck, who has been very, very supportive.
Right.
In GMA, Ghana Maritime Authority, you have them. And these are all women who belong to WISTA.
Yes.
And together, we are bringing up the young ones, the mid-level management, to take over from the top.
Yes.
So I think we are making a very good impact.
Right.
Satisfaction with the agencies. Yes, we are. They are very supportive.
Just 30 seconds.
Yes, very supportive. They listen to us. They help us. They sponsor us to these conferences that today has culminated in my election. So it means that their sponsorship doesn't go to waste. We are actually participating and doing what is necessary. The private sector, we are very happy to announce that they are also very helpful. Magdan Group also sponsors us. They are always ready to help. Goil Ghana, oh my goodness.
Okay.
Goil Ghana is there for us.
Right.
I mean, when we have activities, you see us all in Goil. GPHA, GMA. They're always around us. So I think they are doing well.
Supportive.
But then, like the Oliver Twist that we are, we would always ask for more scholarships, especially for the women to further their education. Because not only do they come back with knowledge, they come back with exposure.
Right.
Which is very good.
Absolutely.
To the young ones, I would say don't give up. Look at some of us and aspire to get to where we are today.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you very much indeed, Madam Jamilat Mama, who is WISTA Ghana President and indeed was just recently elected, Secretary WISTA International in Geneva at the WISTA International AGM recently. We thank you so much for making it with us and for obliging us. We know that as and when we call you, you always, oblige us. Thank you very much and have a super week ahead.
Thank you.
Viewers, so we'll go for a break. When we bounce back, we'll introduce our second guest, and then we'll be underway with our next topic. Please stay with us.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Go Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Go Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Go Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Go Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor,
I make sure I do my contractors' all risk insurance.
For the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site with Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
All right, so you're welcome back. We are now zooming into our next topic, which has to do with how to boost maritime trade through professional maritime education and training. I introduced that topic to you earlier, and we have in the studios someone who is well seated to be able to discuss this particular topic. We have Madam Gertrude Adjoa Ohene Esienim. She's a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers, and she's also a lecturer. Indeed, when we sent out a flyer for this particular discussion, we got a lot of calls and messages from people who intimated that she was their lecturer. And so, and so we are privileged to have her here tonight. We say good evening, madam, and welcome.
Good evening.
Absolutely. We are privileged to have you.
Thank you.
When we say the Chartered Institute of Shipbrokers, what is it?
Well, Institute of Chartered
Shipbrokers, yes, ICS, yeah.
ICS for short.
Yeah.
We represent the professional body that trains maritime professionals and people in the maritime profession. So the institute is over 100 years old, headquartered in London. That our word says that our word is our bond. So over the years, we have trained maritime professionals worldwide, and we have about 26 branches in different parts of the world, recognized partners all over the world. So we are a membership organization as well as an education body, training, offering 16 courses in maritime education.
Right.
So you can imagine all sectors of the maritime arena are covered by us. So if you're in the maritime sector, obviously where you have to get your professional education, just like when you're an accountant, you want to go for accounting professional.
Yes.
When you are in the maritime industry, this is where you have to come for your maritime exactly.
Yes.
To be able to compete worldwide, to be able to rub shoulders with people all over the world. And because it's an internationally recognized certificate, you can use it all over the world. And when you have MICS or FICS, behind your name, everybody wants to do business with you worldwide because your credibility is assured because we ensure professional standards. And I'm privileged to say that I'm the Global Membership Committee Chairman for the Institute. Yes.
Say that again, Global Membership Committee Chairperson,
yes,
Chairman.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that's how far the Lord has brought us.
Hallelujah. All right, so let me find out from you. How do you have an idea how many you are in Ghana, members of ICS?
Well, we have the
Chartered Shipbrokers.
We have the West Africa branch.
Oh, Madam Jamilat is one.
Yes, she's one.
I see. Okay.
And we have the West Africa branch. In the West Africa branch, we cover Nigeria, we cover Ghana, we cover the Cameroon, we cover all the other francophone. We don't have a lot of members in the Anglophone. We don't have a lot of members in the Francophone countries. Yes. So we are now trying to move to there. But we are over 80 in West Africa. But when you say, before you become a chartered shipbroker, you have to be a fellow of the institute.
Okay.
And the fellows in West Africa are not that many.
Right.
All right. So we have members, but not too many fellows in West Africa.
Now, tonight,
you read, I was the first female chartered shipbroker in West Africa.
Oh, really? The first?
The first.
Charlie, today we are talking a lot of firsts. So. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. All right. That's awesome. I just want to find out from you. Tonight we're talking about how to boost maritime trade through professional maritime education and training. And I just first of all want to find out from you what your assessment of our training is. First Ghana, and then if you can maybe expand it to cover the West African sub-region. I know you own a shipping training institution. Let me see if I can get that name right. I think
West Africa School of Shipping.
What's that?
West Africa School of Shipping.
West Africa School of Shipping, absolutely. Yes. So tell us about your assessment of training in the maritime industry in our country. We know that the RMU is the go-to place. I mean, that's widely known, what everybody knows. But tell us whether you are satisfied with what we currently are doing and what your assessment is.
Certainly, the maritime world covers a lot of areas, and there are lots of specializations. That is what maybe people don't realize when you enter the maritime world.
Right.
The fact that you're a freight forwarder doesn't mean that you can be a shipbroker.
Right.
Because each of the areas are specialized in their own way. And there's a lot on the plate for everybody. So definitely the RMU has been in existence for many years, since the 1950s.
When it was Nautical College.
When it was Nautical College. And I think that, again, we were the first, my batch were the first to be trained in ports and shipping administration. So we started that department as the first postgraduate students from the normal seagoing trainings.
Right.
And since then, it had expanded the courses to cover a lot more shore courses, including courses with Shanghai in logistics and other places. Now we have Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology also training people in marine engineering, for instance, which was the flagship of the Regional Maritime University.
Yes.
But when it comes to getting the normal first degree in education, we are doing a lot in that sense.
Right.
What is lacking is going ahead to specialize in the different professional sectors. We obviously have FIATA, which also deals with the freight forwarders.
Yes.
We have SILT in terms of logistics. We have ICS, which covers a wider area when it comes to training and education. So it will be important for people. You know, the maritime sector is a very interesting area. You can be a doctor and still work on board a vessel. But you need to have your mandatories to enable you to specialize and work on a vessel.
Absolutely.
Or you can even be a cook
Yes.
and also work on board a vessel. So that it is a wide area, and there's a lot of training to go on there for people to realize the advantages that they can have once they are able to get that professional training. So if you're an accountant, you have your first degree from another university, but you still need to understand maritime jargons.
Right.
Maritime industry thrive on maritime terminology. And so you can be there and be doing your normal rudimentary work without necessarily understanding the processes of the things you're doing. And that is what we seek to bring when we talk about professionalism.
Yes.
So training you to be able to understand your work scope. You can be a tally clerk in a port. But you should realize that you are dealing with the liability of the shipper, you are dealing with the liability of the carrier, you are dealing with the liability of somebody else. So miscounting means that somebody else is paying for it.
Right.
In the same way, if you overcount, somebody else is also paying for it. So how do we be able to make sure that you are not just counting, but you are counting because it is going to affect somebody else's liability in the industry? And how can you do that professionally and make sure that you promote what you are doing efficiently and cut down on time, speed, and then cost? Because in shipping, any minute that you waste is somebody else's cost.
Right.
So how to turn around ships, for instance. If a ship delays 1 day in a port, you are wasting somebody else's money.
Exactly.
And so in certain areas, like Kenya, it became mandatory that if you don't have the foundation diploma from ICS, you cannot work at the port. So these are the things that we need to look at in Ghana as well. How do we give the people who are working in the maritime space continuous professional development so that they can improve on people are good at what they do. They have the skill. They do it every day. But when you go deep down and you ask them questions about what is behind what they do, they are unable to answer.
Right.
So the West Africa School of Shipping is actually affiliated to the London School of Shipping, which is also owned by the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers. So we are running all the 16 courses offered at ICS in Ghana. So for instance, from next week, our students will be writing the exams, the November exams. You heard my president from Western say that the whole Western world, those who got the scholarship, only the Ghana person passed. That tells you that our exams are no joke.
Right.
And therefore, when you come out of ICS, and that is why people around the world would want to do business with you.
Right.
Because when they see those initials behind your name, they know that you've gone through rudimentary training and examinations to become a member of the institute. Therefore, there's no match like you in the industry. So this is what we seek to promote. And luckily for us, the institute has been set up so that people can come and get trained to the world standard that we deserve, so that we can move from our comfort zone and begin to take up the big global space, like my sister taking up a space in Western. It's an honor to all of us. Absolutely. And this is what we are seeking to promote.
I think you've convinced me. I'll come and enroll for that particular
Kennedy,
course.
You're welcome.
I will.
It will improve your show, I tell you.
Absolutely.
And the kind of questions you asked.
I agree. Sure. I just want to find out from you, there are those who indicate that maritime training and education in our part of the world, in Ghana in particular, is quite expensive. And so it tends to be a disincentive to the younger ones who would want to, who have interest in the industry. Do you agree?
I think education is expensive, but they say that if you say education is expensive, try ignorance. So, for instance, let me give you an example by answering this question. Globally, the International Chamber of Commerce, for instance, says that people use international trade terms worldwide, but only 15% use them correctly. So it means that we have 85% of people using Incoterms wrongly. And if you use Incoterms wrongly, it means that you are...
international commercial terms. Yes,
it means that you are losing money somewhere, or you are not being efficient in what you're doing.
Right.
So training puts you where to make you efficient in what you do.
Right.
So if it takes a lot to train a doctor, in the same way, it takes a lot to train somebody in the maritime sector. And I don't think we are more expensive than other sectors of the world. Just that most of our courses, because shipping is international, you have most of the courses being coming from outside. Therefore, when you do the exchange rate, and especially in our current dispensation where our currency is fluctuating a little bit, it becomes a little bit more expensive when you're changing CDs to pay for a course like ICS in pounds. To be able to undertake the course, or you're doing, because maritime education everywhere is very expensive because it's a specialized industry, and it comes with a lot of reward as well if you're doing it and doing it well. And it's always saddening to see that when you organize training, you have people from all the multinational companies bringing people for training, but very few from indigenous Ghanaian companies training their staff. And yet we want to match boot with these people in that. They invest a lot in training. And when it comes to indigenous Ghanaian companies, training forms sometimes no budget at all for training, or very minimal budget for training. But that is not good enough. If you train your staff to be effective and efficient, it goes around to save you a lot of money. And then it helps you to be efficient and competitive as well, because people would want to do business with you. When they are talking with you and they see that the language you're speaking equates anybody else they speak to in the world. And this is the industry we find ourselves in. You pick up a phone and you're arranging for freight rates somewhere with a line. You are speaking to people all over the world.
Absolutely.
So one, you are creating connectivity. Two, it's a global industry and the same language being spoken. Procedures and processes change, just a little differentiations. But that makes you unique. And so it's a unique industry, and people should know that you need to invest to be able to be at the forefront.
Absolutely. Awesome. Excellent. All right, so let me find out from you, how does one become a chartered shipbroker? What are the processes?
So we run examinations. So it is election by examination. Or by dissertation.
Right.
Okay, so you first have to write the exams. We have a foundation diploma, which is made up of just 2 courses. Then an advanced diploma, also made up of 2 courses. The professional qualifying exams is made up of 7 courses. We have 4 compulsory courses. So you write legal principles in shipping business, economics of sea transport and international trade, introduction to shipping, and then shipping business. And then you add 3 specializations. So let's say for myself, so let's say I'll write maritime law, marine insurance, and then the offshore support industry, which covers the oil and gas industry. Or you can write port and terminal management, ship management, port agency, liner trades. All aspects of shipping are covered, sale and purchase, the chartering courses. So once you finish your 7 examinations, and you pass, then you'll be elected as a member. So you have to apply for membership. Then it goes to the membership committee, so it will come to us, and then we will have to vet your nominations and then approve you as a member. So then you become a member of the institute. Then over the years, when you have attained a certain level in your organization, a senior level position, and then you are about 5 years in practice, then you can apply for fellowship. Or you can be elected as a member by dissertation, by writing a dissertation in a shipping-related field, and then writing our exam, shipping business. So we are very particular about people who become members of the institute, because we want to make sure that at least you have attained a certain level of industry knowledge, as well as the professional qualifying exams to be able to become a member.
Wow. I see. Quite awesome. I think that you are convincing me seriously this evening. We'll see. Now that we have you, I'm sure we'll call and then see what we can do to better our lot as far as this industry is concerned. Let's take a look at some of the opportunities that abound. You made mention earlier about the fact that you can be a doctor and work in a vessel. You can be a cook or chef and work in a vessel. You can be a different professional but still have space in the vessel. All, with this particular ICS basics. The certificate and all that. I want to find out from you, can you tell us some of the opportunities that abound in the shipping industry, so that when people are taking interest in it and are studying, they know that, okay, these are some of the things that we can achieve when we are through?
Okay. So when I was talking about the opportunities, I was actually talking in general terms, not necessarily having the ICS qualification. I was just saying global. I mean, if you are a cook, definitely you have your certificate in your, or chef certificate from somewhere else. But you can still work on board a vessel. So because it means working on a ship is dependent on different skills coming together. So the maritime industry is made up of a barrage of skills and professionals who work there. I mean, even not 2 ships are the same. A tanker is a beautiful babe, but you can't compare that to a container vessel. In the same way, offshore support vessels are different, and even different types. Rigs, seismic vessels, the support vessels themselves, construction vessels. So different skills are required to work in the maritime space.
Absolutely.
So it is open. Engineers are there, doctors are there, the shipping professionals themselves are there, the marine engineers are there. You have port agents. So you have the onshore and then you have the offshore space. So when you come offshore, those who work in the shipping companies are there. So ship management, port agency, liner agency, you have the freight forwarders, the custom agents, and different. Even people who work at the dry dock, they are working at the maritime space. So there are lots of opportunities: naval architecture, oceanography, marine insurance. You know that recently there is a compulsory, the Marine Insurance Act of 2021 brings in compulsory insurance for cargo imports coming into the country. Now, this is another field. It is marine. So even working in the insurance companies, you need the marine background to be able to understand cargo insurance, to be able to make this effective. And we have the maritime law space, consultancy. So there are so many opportunities in the maritime sector. Usually when you talk about maritime, people are just thinking about...
You just mentioned this policy. I just want to find out from you what you make of that particular policy.
It's a very good policy. It is regulating imports, not exports. And I'll tell you why it's important. Usually people will buy goods, cost insurance and freight, right? So you are buying goods from anywhere from the world, coming to your country, insured in another person's country. Your goods arrive. Usually it's only when the goods arrive that you recognize that there's a loss or there's a damage.
Yes.
When there's a loss or damage, are you now going to travel to China, to India, to Singapore to go and claim your insurance? Again, the policy that may be covering your goods might not necessarily be a cover that covers your interest.
Right.
If I, for instance, import these laptops, iPads into the country, my biggest risk is theft.
Right.
Or pilferage.
Yes.
Now, you have an insurance cover that says Institute Cargo Clause C, which does not cover theft or pilferage. Yet, your supplier there has insured the goods and given you an insurance certificate.
Yeah.
So, although the goods are insured, it doesn't cover your actual risk. Again, you are paying in foreign currency. So, you are spending more money insuring something that did not even cover your risk. So it is a good policy for people, and marine insurance rates are very low. You have insurance companies with credibility here. You have a regulator, the National Insurance Commission here, where when you have problems, you can run to. And your claims can be paid promptly. I recently had somebody send me some bills of lading and insurance certificates. They had brought in a lot of cars.
Yes.
The cars got in over 200 cars. 78 of them were damaged. The insurance policy covering it is something in Chinese.
Yes.
They call the insurance company in China and they say, we are not liable. What are you going to do? You are in Ghana. The supplier there is not even willing to help you. How are you going to resolve that problem?
Absolutely.
So the policy is to help people here. Take the insurance here. And then when there is a claim, you can walk to the insurance companies here comfortably for you to be indemnified, to be placed where you were before the loss. So it is here to help people. And then if you don't have insurance, when you're going to clear your goods, your duty is on cost insurance and freight, or cost insurance paid to. So customs will apply a penalty for not having insurance, which is 0.875% at the ports or 1% at the airport, which is much higher than having a marine insurance policy. So in effect, it is all a good policy to help. One, it will create employment. Two, it will boost our insurance industry. Marine insurance is a backbone of many countries that we envy today. And so it will be good for us to promote these industries in our own space. And also have the comfort of just taking your policy, walk to, or call your insurance company here and get your claim. So I think importers should embrace this.
Okay. So I think Mr. Fred Asedudati of the Ghana Shippers Authority, manager in charge of freight and logistics, is watching. He says you should pick up the forms tomorrow. Sharp. ICS is unique.
Fred, thank you. Fred is a fellow of the Institute.
Absolutely, yes.
He was my former chairman for the West Africa branch.
Right.
So, Fred, kudos. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Chief. I definitely will do that. I'll do that. We are grateful to you for choosing Iron Port this evening. And this one says, good evening, Iron Port. I am a proud member of Wista Ghana. Madam Jamilat, our president, keeps lifting the flag higher and higher. Thank you, Madam President. We are proud of you. I've been told by the production team that we can activate the phone lines for you to call in. We don't have enough time today. Remember, along the line, we had a power outage, and so it also slowed us a bit. But you can call. The number to dial is 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353, and then contribute to the discussion. Still talking about maritime training. I know one issue that has been a long-standing one has been the absence of a training vessel for the RMU. I don't know how this has affected training. You are a lecturer there at the place.
It certainly does affect our graduates, because when you finish your marine engineering or your nautical science, you definitely need sea time of no less than about 12 months. And the absence of simulators, vessels owned by Ghanaians to be able to put, I have personally employed some cadets to work offshore to be able to give them that kind of sea training. So it is a big challenge for us. But let's look at the economic benefits of training seafarers. If we have about 80% of goods being moved by sea, over 80%, And why can't we go the way of countries like the 5 top seafarer countries are Philippines, Russia, Indonesia, India, and I think was the last one, China. Philippines alone have about 30% of seafarers worldwide.
Wow.
About 1.6 million seafarers.
Seafarers.
And they contribute about $6 billion
annually
to the economy. This is what we are missing.
Yeah.
So we are training these people for marine engineering, nautical science, and they end up working in areas that are unrelated.
Yeah, sure.
We are wasting resources. Look at how the city is dancing. If we get $6 billion every year back in our economy, what will happen to our economy?
Right.
And these are things that we can easily put in place by promoting our seafarers worldwide. What does a Filipino crew bring on board at a Ghanaian? I have put Ghanaian crew on board vessels. Initially, people have eyes, sort of rejection. Once they employ them, the testimonials we get far exceed the expectation.
Right.
And they sometimes they request, we want these people again.
Wonderful.
When the vessels are coming. So it means our crew are dedicated.
Yes.
They are efficient. They are well trained. It is up to us to look for opportunities to be able to put these men and women on board vessels. And again, it is also disheartening to find just a few women getting into the space of marine engineering and nautical science.
Yes.
We have to be deliberate about it and promote many more women in this sector. So with the passing of the cabotage law, to have about vessels working in the Ghana maritime space, having seafarers trained Ghanaians on board, and also promoting Ghanaian-owned or registered ship-owning companies. I believe it's in the right direction. So how are we going to implement that and be able to make sure that our people are able to take advantage of that?
Let's go on to the phone lines and welcome Rauf. I understand he's calling us from Tamale. Good evening, sir. Audu from Tamale, yes. Good evening, sir.
Please, from Takoradi, sir.
From Takoradi, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Please shoot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying your program, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's good. I wanted to find out and see whether are they doing swimming, life saving, and swimming instructors course with the maritime.
Okay.
So that we can apply.
Right.
We too, our this is swimming. We like swimming, so we want to know whether they will be swimming this thing.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much indeed, Audu. We are grateful to you all the way from Tamale. Do you have any course for instructors, swimming instructors?
The RMU is in partnership with Rigworld, and they do the swimming in Buoys and others on the campus.
Okay.
So he can
apply.
Yes, and then they can take him through the training.
Oh, nice. Okay, beautiful. Yeah. Great. Okay, so how do you head, madam? They have something like that at RMU. You can apply, get in touch with them, and then you can take it up from there. I just want to find from you, again, the issue of cost of doing business in African ports and the absence of national carriers. Those days, I mean, we're still basking in the Black Star Line days. Mostly that's the point of reference. Most people, when they want to talk about the national carrier, they make reference to the Black Star Line and all that. Marcus Garvey's, and all those things. But let's find out, how is the absence of national carriers in Africa, impacting the cost of doing business in our ports?
Kennedy, you wanted to close today.
I know, right?
I think
we have barely 5 minutes to go.
the issue of national...
Please, before you come in, there's another caller on the line. Also, he's now calling from Tamale. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
I'm Victor. I'm calling from Tamale.
Victor, yes, please. Good evening.
Please, I'm a dental nurse, and I'm enjoying your show. Please, I want to find out, as a dental nurse, is there any program that is health-related that I can pursue in order to work in any of their ships?
Okay. A program that is health-related that you can pursue in order to work on a ship?
Yes, please.
All right. Okay. Madam would answer that. Thank you very much indeed, Victor, and regards to the people in Tamale.
Health-related?
Yes.
So we have HSE, Health, Safety, and Environment courses, which you can do to be able to work, I mean, in oil and gas and in shipping companies.
Yes.
they take health, safety, and environment courses very seriously because how to prevent incidents and accidents and also promote the well-being of personnel and as well as the environment is of top priority in these industries. So he can take a course in health and safety and environment and be able to work as an HSC officer on board in either onshore or on board vessels by having other trainings on board to be able to bring him up.
Awesome. All right. This one says, good evening. Please, I am a teacher and currently listening to your program. I want to know, as a teacher, do I have a space in the port? Thank you.
Kennedy, I think I leave that one to you to answer since
let's hold that. Let's pick a last caller, and then we'll cut them or cut the callers off, and then we'll wrap up. Yes. Hello.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, please. My name is Alvin, and I'm calling from Hull.
Great, Alvin. Thank you very much for joining us. Please shoot.
Yeah. I completed RMU in 2011.
Yes.
And I offered port and shipping management.
Okay.
That is the diploma.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask if we also have a chance of working on a ship or in the port. Because almost all my mates that I competed with, we all struggle in getting into the maritime industry.
Okay.
Yeah, so we want to know if there's a course that we can pursue. And moreover to me, the fees are very on the higher side. So if there's anything that we can do to help us get on board or maybe work in a port.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much indeed, Alvin. Madam would give you a response, and then I think they'll be wrapping up. What we'll do is that we cannot continue because we have barely 3 minutes. The man coming to do the news is already seated here, and so I would crave the indulgence of my bosses who are executive producers that would have a part 2 if you have time, so that next week we'll come and we exhaust this particular topic. Because we still have a lot of questions to ask you. Yes, so I'll crave the indulgence of my bosses so that next week we'll bring you back to the studio.
I'll be in Takoradi.
Next week you'll be in Takoradi. All right, so the following week?
The week after.
All right, that's fine. But we'll agree that we'll have a part 2 of this one.
Part 2,
yes. So let's
let me answer the question that just came
in.
I think when people talk about the maritime sector, they just think about the port.
Right.
That is a wrong notion. Every big company has a shipping department. If you talk about the manufacturing sector, you talk about there are so many companies that have shipping departments or that are into international trade. So I'll urge my students that they shouldn't be skewed in looking at just ports, GMA and Shippers Authority and a few agencies that are, but they should widen the net. And most of the time, those who get employed in these companies are people without shipping backgrounds.
Right.
And then they are trained to do the job and on the job training. So they should be looking at these companies and go and profess the knowledge that is being impacted into them to be able to widen their nets.
Okay, so about tackling the one from the teacher who says, please, I'm a teacher and currently listening to your program. I want to know, as a teacher, do I have a space in the port, like you said? And this one says, thumbs up to Gertrude and Jamilat. It's long overdue for everyone in the maritime space to have a professional qualification like ICS. The cascading effect from a professional workforce cannot be overlooked. And there's no name attached to this particular one. And this one says, Ohima once again says, good evening, I am Port. I am proud member of WISTA. I think I've taken that already. She says again, special good evening to Madam Gertrude. She taught me maritime law at the Regional Maritime University. She always has this joyous aura that makes maritime a pleasure. May God continually promote you, Mama G. Well, you are called Mama G. G for general. All right, so I think that we'll drop it here. We are already out of time. Sure. I would say a very big thank you to you, Madam Gertrude. Let me get a full name right. Madam Gertrude Ajua Ohene Esienim, Fellow Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers. She's a chartered shipbroker and lecturer, and she's the MD for Whitestone Shipbrokers, and also the MD for West Africa School of Shipping. Absolutely, we are grateful to you. We'll be waiting for you for part 2 when you are ready. Yes, and we'll also say big thanks to Madam Jamilat, who decided to stay and give you some moral support, who is President of WISTA Ghana. We appreciate you so much. And viewers, this is how we draw the curtain on this week's edition of Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition. We say big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle Company Limited, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, and Meridian Port Services, MPS. The show is proudly going to be aired on Ghana television on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. That's the abridged version. So make a date and watch that. We'll show a super week ahead, and we'll say good evening and continue watching the rest of our programs. So I'm Kennedy Mona. We're out.